Welcome to the show. I'm Vivian Kobusingye Birchall, your host, and I am so excited to be hosting a group of young people making a difference in global health. They call themselves the Young Catalyst under the mentorship of Dr. Lydia Asana. So it's going to be an exciting conversation to get to know this group of young people. But to start, welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Right. So I'm going to call on each one of you to introduce yourselves, tell us what you do, and if you're in school, what school you go to and what you're studying. We'll start based on who is on my screen first, and that's Andres.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful for this opportunity. So my name is Andres Diaz. I am an MD PhD candidate at the University of Arizona College of Medicine. I'm currently doing my my PhD dissertation in cancer biology, particularly pediatric cancers. And I'm currently also, when I'm done with that, I'll go back to medical school. And I'm really interested and motivated in pursuing and advocating for global health equity, particularly among pediatric patients. And I'm excited to speak with everyone.
Thank you. Shrey?
Hi, thank you for having me as well. I'm Shrey. I'm a first-year medical student at the University of Vermont's Lerner College of Medicine. I just started medical school 6 months ago, and I'll be graduating in 2026 with my MD, and I'm hoping to become a pediatric oncologist and practice in places where there isn't a lot of specialization in pediatric oncology.
Marielle?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Marielle. I'm currently not in school. I finished my MPH in 2020. And since 2020, I've been working as an epidemiologist. And I currently live in the DMV area, and I am an epidemiologist with the CDC Foundation. So I started as a student just with a vague interest in public health. And with my interaction, my involvement with GHC, I've been able to focus my interest more and actually be able to work and impact the community in which I am in. So I'm really excited to be here as well.
And finally, the visionary Dr. Asana.
Hello, everyone. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm Dr. Asana, and I've been with the GHC since it began. I do a lot of communication and coordination for our summits, and the populations that I'm most excited about are these young people, because it just gets me excited to see that the things we're working so hard on, namely addressing disparities and just leveling the playing field, bringing equity in access to research, care, education, and advocacy, that there are younger people who are excited too, and there are younger people who are actually doing things and don't realize they are already in global health. So one of the main things I encourage and always talk about is that they are already in this field. And so I feel that one of my responsibilities is to give them space on that platform, because it's not only that they will help in the future or be the leaders of the future, but they are already contributing and helping them to see that for themselves.
A great segue into my first question for each and every one of you is you're studying, oncology or studying to resolve or help cancer patients or public health. So how did you get involved with the Global Health Catalyst? And I'll start with Marielle.
So I actually first got involved with GHC in 2016 as a student. I had the opportunity to attend an event that Dr. Asana and other volunteers were putting together at my university in Florida, the University of Central Florida. So at that time, I was interested in public health and global health, but I was not really sure what I wanted to do with it. And I did not know who to speak with, how to engage. So when I attended that event, definitely the connection was made. I was able to find a mentor. I was able to just connect, and from that initial interaction, I've been able to volunteer with them ever since. And I've been Very grateful to have taken part of, a lot of many different projects that she entrusted me to be part of. So it all stemmed from that meeting in 2016.
And Shrey?
I was applying to medical school in 2020 and 2021, and my professor, Dr. Davidson, who works very closely with Dr. Asana on a lot of, she's come to summits, and they are colleagues in the honors college at my alma mater. She read my application materials and said, like, I know who you should talk to about global health, and put me in touch with Dr. Asana. And so I've been able to volunteer for about the past year and a half thanks to that connection. So.
Andres?
So, like Marielle, I met Dr. Asana at the same conference. It was the Global Health Conference hosted by the University of Central Florida. And I got to be honest, Marielle, I thought you two had known each other longer before that conf.
So it was I met her at a different event.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was an event from the African Student Organization. So it was before that conference.
Okay, that makes
I'm
more
just like,
sense.
oh,
Oh, that makes more sense. So I met Dr. Asana at the Global Health Conference hosted by the University of Central Florida, also my alma mater, the medical school. And at the time, I was working with a group called International Medical Outreach. We were doing community service work and healthcare infrastructure work in southeastern Haiti. And we were presenting that work at that conference. And towards the end of the conference, I met both Marielle and Dr. Asana. And I think just from our initial conversations, there was a meeting of the minds and an understanding that this work is important and that global health is local health and local health is global health. And it was actually a very quick interaction and friendship. I mean, we were actually exiting the building when we met, and I recall that moment vividly. And I've been involved with the Global Health Catalyst ever since. And it's a career affirming experience for me.
So one recurring theme I've been hearing is I met Dr. Asana. So Dr. Asana, this is for you. So in addition to meeting these amazing people, young people, what magnet do you use to get them actually hooked to this program? And in addition to meeting people at the conferences, is there any other strategy for reaching out to young people to be a part of the Global Health Catalyst?
Yeah, so I think that when you genuinely care or excited about something, it shows. And so that's probably the magnet, because they've gone on to do the same thing. They are have had experience with us, but have brought people along, have mentored, and people are drawn to genuine enthusiasm and commitment. And with our work with the young catalysts, we always say we seek to engage. And so we meet them where they are. If your school has an event, they happen to meet me at events that I was there, but others will go and represent GHC. Sometimes it's through a mutual connection, like Dr. Davidson having a student and saying, I know who you can talk to. And the event that we had at UCF where we met Marielle was through the African Students Organization. So sometimes it's even a club on campus that's doing something related. Sometimes we've been able to come as guests to speak at a club on a related event. So natural connections, really. And I think it's characteristic of the Global Health Catalyst that engagement happens every day, but I don't believe they're accidental. They're always purposeful, but they're not always planned. Right. And so we think we can meet anyone, anywhere, and share and find that connection, because we believe global health is apparent or is a part of every aspect of life. Yeah,
absolutely. And speaking of engagement, so from just listening to all of you, you've come into the global health, or you came into the Global Health Catalyst with particular skills or interests, but when you got to the Catalyst program, what things did you learn? What are some of the skills that you have learned or gained as being a part of this process? And I'll start this time with Shrey.
So the list of things that I've learned and skills that I've gained would be very long if I were to go through all of it right now. I think the most important ones have been in terms of communication, kind of broadly construed, whether it's through like Dr. Asana having me help with creating marketing materials or directly being able to talk to different kinds of people. I've met a lot of new people at both the virtual summit that we had and in person. I've gained skills in writing and really gotten to do a really diverse set of activities, which I think is the most important thing when you're trying to develop a new skill set. So that's been very exciting.
And Andre?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I value a lot about the Global Health Catalyst is there's a lot of encouragement about the value that I can provide an issue. I think with students, there's often a sense of, regardless of undergraduate, high school students, even graduate students like ourselves, there's a feeling of imposter syndrome where we are not ready to be engaged in this work. That, oh, you still have to finish your degree to get actively engaged in global health equity. And I think one of the things that Dr. Asana really instills in us is you're ready. You've been ready. You were ready yesterday. Like, and I think that's a skill and a perspective that has been nurtured through the Global Health Catalyst, and also a sense of ownership, right? Because at first, we were learning how to manage teams, how to work as a team, how to address small issues, larger issues, but eventually what we're learning now is to have a sense of ownership over these projects that we're working on. So I think the mind shift that I have learned and earned working with the Global Health Catalyst has been one of the most robust and important skills that I've had. And I think the other thing that the Global Health Catalyst has provided me is a sense of diversity about the angles that you can take to address global health equity concerns. I reflect on the first conference that I went to, that many of the attendants were not just medical professionals or public health professionals like I had expected um, in my ignorance, but there were politicians, governors, engineers, PhDs, educators, artists. And I think since that conference, I really built a skill about really thinking outside the box when addressing these issues. And I think that was in part, that emerged in large part from my as a skill that I earned through the Global Health Catalyst.
Marielle?
Yes. To kind of echo what Shrey said, I was able to hone my communication skills while working with the Global Health Catalyst. So throughout my time with the group and with Dr. Asana, I've been able to present at various conferences. So the Global Health Catalyst summits that we've had, she always makes sure to also have us involved. So we're not only in the background, but we're also presenting, with these seasoned professionals, these leaders, these global leaders, like Andres was saying. So we are also there at the forefront in a way, and we're able to just develop our communication skills. So just do presentation, our writing skills as well. She's always encouraged us and looked over, things that we wrote. I was actually was able to be involved in 2 publications. And I have to say, like at the beginning, I was not that confident in my writing skills, but she's always been very encouraging. And I also was able to use skills that I didn't even know I could use here in the US. My first language is French, and I was able to use that in a book translation that we did, the epilepsy book translations. So she does the Catalyst Summit, the Summit and group, they really do look at all the skills that you have and use them in the program. And the last thing I wanted to add was also leadership skills. Like Andres mentioned, a lot of students may suffer from imposter syndrome, but in this group, she really does give us confidence and encourages us to just go to our fullest potential. So I have become a volunteer lead for a few years now, and I'm able to, in a certain way, mentor newer young catalysts. Just tell them about what I've done with the Global Health Catalyst, what the program is about, help them when they need any help. So those are skills that I've been able to develop with the program.
Well, Marielle, you just got into my next question, but hold that thought. You're going to be the start one to get into the next question. Before we get there, Dr. Asana, with just listening to all these young catalysts talking about the impact you've heard on them, in terms of empowering the young catalysts into the summit, the list could go on and on. But what, as a visionary in this area, what have you learned from the young catalysts?
Oh, shall we start with my technical skills where they really helped me level up? But so we seek to engage, and then the next level is to equip them. And so I always encourage, hey, what would you like to learn? And then you learn by being put on a team to do that task which you seek to learn. And then they'll get mentors. It could be myself or other members of our team. And I think if we had other members of our team on here, you would hear them referring to these leaders as well. But from them, they continue to remind me that the work we're doing is important and it's relevant. Sometimes when we sit with seasoned professionals and we're working on budgets and we're working on strategy and those kinds of things, it seems like it's really work. But when I'm working with the young people, it reminds me that this is who I am. I am a catalyst, and I'd like to engage others to be catalysts. It's not a job title. It's a role that we take on to look at the world and say, where can I facilitate? Where can I support? Where can I engage? Where can I innovate? And so working with them continues to remind me and teach me that this is what I've chosen to do with my life, and not necessarily this is a job. And the other thing is resilience and flexibility. I like to have things orderly and planned out, and in life that doesn't always work out. And working with low and middle income countries and populations and disparity issues, you have to be flexible, and so the different perspectives that they bring, where there's this wonderful plan for a program, and then they say, well, what if we did this instead? Or I have an idea for marketing material, and the end product may be very simple, but it's more effective. And so they continue to reinforce the idea for me that I need to keep learning myself. I need to remain flexible, that things are changing. And so the ways in which we meet people where they are, engage them, will also change. But they also affirm the fact that the work that we're doing is important and relevant. And so that keeps me excited.
Awesome. So Marielle, back to you. So you mentioned that you were helping with volunteering in the Global Health Catalyst, taking a lead role in some areas. So just tell us a little bit more about the different ways that you have contributed to the Global Health Catalyst and beyond. And then we'll take it from there. Starting with
okay. All right. So, like I was saying, I've had many opportunities to serve while I was as a volunteer with the Global Health Catalyst. And one of the main projects I've worked on, something I'm very proud of, is the epilepsy book. So this is a bilingual French and English book that we've been working on for quite some time, a few years. And it's a collaboration between the Global Health Catalyst, the University of South Florida honors students. We also were collaborating with people on site in Cameroon. So the target, we're trying to, this book is basically to provide health education about epilepsy in Cameroon. So we worked with some people in Cameroon, some physicians, other volunteers in Cameroon, and also because the collaboration never ends. We worked with medical professionals in 3 different continents, I believe. So on the US, in Africa, and also in Europe. So it has been a great joy and pride to work on this project for so long, and it has also been a great learning opportunity, right? When we're talking about global health, people just think about health, but just even literature or publication is part of global health, and we are making a change through literature. We are able to provide health education. We are able to just to share, the message. So yeah, I've that's one of the major work or project that I've worked on, and I'm really proud of that.
Exciting. Sounds very exciting. I've seen some images and I can't wait to get my hands on that book. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Shrey.
I've gotten to work on a lot of different smaller projects in the last year and a half, which has been really exciting because I think something that's really essential to me is I just really love doing something and contributing to something. And Dr. Asana knows this about me, and she'll always like ask me, like, "Do you want to work on this?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." And so I've gotten to write a chapter on hepatocellular cancer, which taught me a lot about how that kind of thing is done, and about the disease itself. And I got to do some work with the children's book as well, answering questions that children in Cameroon, I believe, had submitted about what epilepsy is and some misconceptions of it, and created all kinds of designs and graphics for the different social media platforms that GHC has. So I've learned a lot about how to manage those platforms and kind of get like views and engagement up, which has been great, especially during COVID, because it's allowed people to engage with GHC in whatever way they had access to remotely. And those are the most important things I've gotten to do. And then, of course, volunteering at the summits and helping to facilitate online meetings and things like that. That's taught me a lot about how to navigate the new ways in which we meet and connect on Zoom. And I've gotten to hear some really interesting things while being in those meetings too, and learn a lot.
Well, Shrey, first of all, you started by saying you've worked on smaller projects. No project is small. I wanted to mention that because what you're doing is amazing. I feel like an underperformer with the amounts of contributions that you have made to science and to children and communities. So thank you so much. And then Andres?
Yes, certainly. I think Dr. Osana has really opened up a lot of opportunities for me. But I think one of the, when she brings up a project or an idea to us, she also kind of emphasizes that if this is a passion of yours, and one of the things that I'm passionate about is college prep and higher education for our young students, high school students, medical students. So one of the things that I was able to be involved in was doing a series of lectures on community colleges and the pros and cons of attending a community college as you prepare for higher education. I myself am a community college graduate, so I was really excited to have that opportunity to help set up some of those sessions and kind of really demystify the community college pipeline, and really emphasize the amazing things that you can learn through that pipeline. So I think getting involved with a project or a series of sessions where I can really work with young people and help clarify, destigmatize, and open up opportunities regarding their educational potential through the Global Health Catalyst. That was really not only rewarding but heartwarming and personal for me. And I think another way that I was able to get involved was by contributing to writing, specifically a chapter for one of our texts that a collective group of professionals and young catalysts put together. We're able to contribute a chapter to that book, the Approaching Global Oncology, the win-win model. And I think being able to contribute to that text, seeing it printed, and then seeing that book being widely disseminated was really humbling. And it really made me realize, like Dr. Asana often does, that, hey, like you really can get involved in this work. So those are two things that I've been, delighted to have been a part of.
Thank you, Andres, and thank you all for all the amazing contributions you're making to global health. So when I created the Shrey Healthcare Blind Spots because of recognizing some of the gaps that we have in our healthcare system, especially affecting Black people, people in low and middle income countries. And so hearing you being a part of solutions to bridge those disparities, it just warms up my heart. And as somebody who uses, the communication platform to let the world know of the amazing work you're doing, I want to say thank you so much. And but Dr. Asana, as you listen to all these people you have mentored to participate in these big projects to represent the GHC, what is your vision for young catalysts in general to, in terms of building on these projects, collaborating more with the greater Global Health Catalyst program? And yeah, what can you tell us? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of them, because listening to them speak, I don't always get the chance to just sit back and hear from them what they've learned, what they've gotten out of it. We just do every day. So thank you, each of you, for just making me feel really proud. And it makes me remember the day we met or the projects that you started on. But I, appreciate your commitment, because they will come up with ideas. They will remind me we have a deadline coming and so on. But overall, at GHC, our goal is to be catalysts, as I've said before, right? We want to catalyze collaborations for global health and development. And I'd like them to see now and learn those skills now, that working together is the way to solve these problems, and working together with people from all different backgrounds, whether it's ethnic or cultural or professional, right? And so that actually already happens in our group. We have someone who's in Rwanda, someone who's in Germany, someone from Canada. There's already that diversity in our group. And then we've got the artists and the tech people and the medical people. They're already in our group, and they're learning that this is how we solve problems, by working together, by volunteering our skill set in addition to our time and our interest, and then learning and being humble enough to go to someone else and say, I got this idea, but I don't know where to go with it. One of the things we often talk about is leaders of the future or sustainability. And so one of the key things for our Global Health Catalyst is sustaining this movement of, we need to care about other people's issues, because they really are our issues as well. We are all part of humanity. COVID taught some people that lesson, but it's a lesson that we've needed for so long, and we will always need. Issues of healthcare and access to healthcare and equity in terms of healthcare are really dehumanizing, when someone does not have a chance at life, does not have a chance at health, does not have a chance at participating in medical research, just because of their economic situations, just because of their geographic location. Like, that's not okay. And I think that the next generation is more committed to things like taking care of our environment, being our neighbor's keeper. And so they're bringing new life into this work, but they're also sustaining it by bringing new perspectives and sharing their skill sets. And so my hope is that those who are doing little projects, for school or for work or in research, would realize that they are really already part of the solution. And so one of my hopes is that I can connect with different institutions, different clubs, different groups, and help them see what they are already doing, so that they can own that and contribute that to the bigger picture. People don't always realize that what they're doing is part of something bigger. And so one of my goals is to just get young people to see that what you're doing matters, and we can help grow the skill, grow the impact of that. But come and get engaged, and then we will help to equip you. And then we entrust you. A lot of the things they're talking about, I would say, oh, so you have concerns about public speaking, right? Okay, we can work on that. And 3 months later, you're going to be one of those presenting, and push them along. But they've never said no. And at the end of it, it's always worked out. So just encouraging young people to dream it, have the audacity to even speak it as a desire, and then we come alongside you to help climb those mountains, and then we always celebrate together. So I have a lot that I've celebrated with them, and I look forward to more.
Absolutely. And when you say, there's the words young catalyst have been used through this conversation, but is there a definition or a scope for what a young catalyst is? Is it just global health, or is it broader? Is that something that you'd like to speak to briefly, Dr. Asana?
Okay, so global health catalysts in general, we are all volunteers in this work, and we see ourselves as change makers in the field of global health. Ultimately, global health, we're looking at the gaps that exist and seeking to bring equitable solutions. And so the young catalysts are those who are starting off in this journey, maybe beginning to recognize that things are not as they should be in terms of access to healthcare, in terms of access to research or education, or being able to be published and things like that. They're beginning to see that life isn't fair, even for those who have it, all is well with them. And for those who are struggling, they see that life isn't fair, and learning that we're seeking really justice, because fairness we can do very little about, but we can help to even the playing field and bring about equitable and just solutions. So one of the things Andreas did not mention is that at the summit that he attended, and we broke into groups, his team talked about engaging younger students, and we ended up doing that and implementing that. So our junior catalysts are high school students, and a lot of what we focus on for our high school students is excel in your schoolwork, introduce them to STEM, medical careers, engineering. We did a series with a homeschool group called College Bound, for example, and brought different professionals. But we started with college admissions professionals because we want you to envision life beyond high school and have those big goals. Because when you're in this field, the problems are big, but if you already know how to dream big, then you're just like, well, it's just another challenge, right? So our junior catalysts are beginning to learn that they need to excel, that the field of STEM and medicine and engineering is open to them. Some people used to fear it. Some kids think, oh, well, that's too much for me, but exposing them. We had, after one summit before COVID, and we hope to do more, just a cohort of students who got to visit labs and talk to scientists and meet with doctors and so on. So exposing the junior catalysts. And then our young catalysts, our undergrad and graduate students are now beginning to do the work. They're beginning to volunteer their time because they see that they can be a part of it. So they come in where they are, expressing their interests, gaining some skills, and then contributing as they are able. And then we have our emerging catalysts who maybe are the postdocs or the young professionals who are now ready to transition to becoming the catalysts who are now telling others and mentoring others on what to do. So we try to focus on exposure, participation, leadership, and mentoring so that you can now go on to just be part of the bigger pool and start over. But the biggest emphasis is anybody who with an interest in global health can participate. And the first step is expressing that interest and getting connected to people who can help you see how that interest is valuable to the field.
Fantastic. Before I know that we have an upcoming Global Health Catalyst Summit, and soon I'll get back to you, Dr. Asana, about how young people can get engaged with this summit. But before that, one of the final question I think we'll have, because we have to wrap this up, unfortunately, is you as young catalysts who have been a part of the process so far, what have been some of the shocks, or the one thing that you didn't know that you learned from the Global Health Catalyst, a lesson learned, an experience that you had that stuck with you for maybe the rest of your life? Just the one thing, if you could think of one, starting with Andres.
Yeah, certainly. And I touched on this earlier briefly, but as I was developing my CV and my preparation for medical school, I had in my mind that the bulk of global health work was performed by medical professionals or public health professionals, right? And then I attended the Global Health Catalyst Summit hosted at Dana-Farber Cancer Center, and I was really taken aback and shocked by the diversity of professionals that was present at the conference, all in a common goal towards addressing, healthcare disparities, global health, and towards global health equity. And I think at the time that really shocked me and really left a lasting impression on me. And part of that experience was also at the conference. There was a showing of a documentary called "How I Live" by Megan Shea from Persistent Productions, and this is a documentary about pediatric cancer care in underserved areas around the world, covering 6 countries. And I remember that in that conference, focused on global health equity, what left the most pressing impression on me was a documentary by an artist about global health equity, right? That what left me and really changed my perspective on global health equity was in part all the great medical professionals I met, but especially people in film and people in sport and people in engineering. And I think that really to this day has really shaped the way that I approach my global health endeavors, my research, and how I hope to practice as a global health physician. That diversity of perspective that really left a lasting impression on me.
Well, as someone in media, we feel validated. Thank you.
Oh, but Vivian, I always tell you we can't do this without you. So
I'm
he's
joking.
affirming. He's affirming.
Yeah, affirming. That's okay. That's the word. See, when you have English as your third language, then you have to struggle with what is the right word to use. So anyway, but thank you so much, Shrey.
I think in line with what Andres said, when I attended the summit in person last summer, a lot of the sense that I got, regardless of the types of backgrounds that anyone in attendance was coming from, in terms of profession, the countries that they were coming from, there was a really strong sense of community and even family. And that was I was blown away by that, because I think that's really what's missing from a lot of work in STEM, work that's highly focused on academic institutions. Sometimes it can be kind of, like an elite club like atmosphere when we're talking about research, publications, things like that. And it was so warm and so welcoming, and everyone, was like an old friend and sharing ideas, and it was just a really dynamic space. And I think that is what's so important for the future of global health and for the future of oncology, because morale really does need to be kept up, and it really does need to be that everybody's displaying solidarity, everybody's working together, and caring about each other while we're caring about patients. And so that was really wonderful to see.
I like that you mentioned the dynamic space. I mean, just look at this screen alone. This diversity warms up my heart. This dynamic, space of people who are enthusiastic about coming together to make a difference is just amazing. And Marielle, you're next.
Yeah. I think my biggest takeaway, or something that I was surprised by, was that yes, the global health field, we have seasoned professional in that field, and they are making just making progress, and they are just accomplishing things. But as young catalysts and even junior catalysts, like Dr. Asana said, we can also contribute to the mission. We can also impact or have an impact in this field. So throughout my years working with the Global Health Catalyst, I realized that yes, we do have a role to play, and yes, we are actually impacting. We may think that it's a small impact, but in the grand scheme of things, we are actually, contributing as well. So this is something that I definitely take to heart, and I try to encourage even younger, like my siblings, just younger younger people that I know, you can do something, you can make a difference. Don't think it's just for the professional to do it. So that's something that I always have in mind.
Yeah, she used the magic word, contribute. So, Dr. Asana, how can young catalysts contribute to this coming summit, and what other ways can they be engaged?
Yeah, thank you. So our next summit is coming up May 4th through 6th at the University of Pennsylvania. We're very excited. Our hosts are just doing a lot to help prepare. The excitement is growing on their campus, and that really encourages us. So May 4th through May 6th, 2023 at UPenn. And each year we do have a Young Catalyst session at the summit. And this year, in order to allow more Young Catalysts to participate more than the time we have for a session, we're able to do poster presentations. And so our invitation is that for all young people who are listening, maybe for those who are teaching in this field or who have students working in their labs, this is an opportunity for them to create a poster to present at the summit. The posters will be up throughout, and then on the third day, we will have a team of professionals going around and making some sort of evaluation. But it's a great opportunity to showcase how they're already involved in global health, one of the things we've been talking about. Because if they are part of a project, if they are a research assistant, if they've attended a class, they've gone on a medical mission, these are ways they've already contributed to global health. So we're hoping that they can come and display either something academic, something from research, something from service, global health service, or maybe they're shadowing doctors and things like that, something from global health care, but emphasize how your project is impacting global health and how it has impacted you as a young person and how you see that you are impacting the world, right? Because it's always, well, I'm a junior person, the last name on this list of authors in a publication and so forth. But this is an opportunity. One of the elements will be how has this project impacted you, but also highlight how you have played a part in impacting the world by being part of this project. So we're going to have information up on our website soon, but just to have people start thinking about, what am I doing in my classes with my professors in the research lab at my place of work, through my church or my mosque? What have we done to serve, whether it's populations overseas or now the world is right here in our backyards as well. It could be service right in our own communities that are ways that as a young person, I'm involved in global health now. So we look forward to putting those details on the Global Health Catalyst Summit website coming up very soon. And we hope that both students and teachers and supervisors and so on will share this message and encourage the young people to represent all the young catalysts around the world who are doing something by coming and doing these posters. And it's a great chance to also get feedback and encouragement while they're there from those who will view their posters.
And what is that website address, and what is the other best way to contact you about the Young Catalyst?
So the website for the summit is globalhealthcatalyst.summit.org. That's globalhealthcatalyst.summit.org. And anyone can send an email to info@globalhealthcatalysts with an S at the end. So info@globalhealthcatalysts.org. And if in the subject line you mention Young Catalysts, it will find its way to myself or to a member of our team so that we can address any questions, concerns, suggestions. We are happy to have more students involved, more volunteers involved, more departments of institutions involved. I mean, the University of South Florida that was mentioned, for 5 years, they have sponsored students to come to the summit, to participate in the summit. And so we'd like to see more institutions invest in global health by investing in these students, giving them a chance to come as well. It does serve the institutions well at the end of the day. So we hope they'll collaborate with us and encourage and support students to attend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Asana, for everything that you do for global health, for the Young Catalyst, our future generation, and for healthcare in general. And I think the final thing that I'll ask is to all the Young Catalysts, if just say one word that will describe the Global Health Catalyst to the viewers, the younger people, so that they are, you know, something that would help them kind of build a vision to what this Global Health Catalyst Summit is. One word.
Oh,
Starting with who wants to go first? All right.
I can see the wheels turning.
Right. I think Marielle is smiling. She wants to go first. All right.
I'll go. So the first thing that comes to mind is enriching.
Perfect. All right. Shrey?
I'd say galvanizing.
All right. Andre?
I would say engaging.
And Dr. Asana?
I didn't know you were going to come to me. Fulfilling. It's fulfilling.
All
It's
right.
fulfilling
With
work.
all these words, fulfilling, galvanizing, encouraging, engaging, I would like to say thank you all for everything that you do to make all these what are the adjectives, the words that you said to describe the Global Health Catalyst Summit. And thank you for everything that you're doing for global health and for our community and humanity. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for being my guests on Healthcare Blind Spots. And
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was such an honor. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Please check out the Global Health Catalyst Summit website for more information. And hopefully we'll see you there in May 2023. Thank you for watching. Until next time.